Welcome back to Turf Talk Countdown Edition. Vance, 19 days to go.
Yep, and all the prep races were completed this past Saturday, Arkansas Derby and Lexington, which really didn't matter. But your boy, Classic Empire, made a nice comeback, winning the Arkansas Derby by a narrow margin, but you figured he needed to have that race. Good win for him, and hopefully for you and for the connections, he can continue to move forward in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to seeing how he trains at Churchill Downs. He's one of a few in this race, expected to be in this race, who has already won at Churchill. He has a maiden win and a stakes win there. Of course, McCracken, a horse you've been high on throughout the year, has some stakes wins there too. Steve Asmussen's Hence, who won the Sunland Derby, has already been training at Churchill. I think he already has 2 works under his belt. So a lot of excitement surrounding the race as horses ship into Louisville. With less than 3 weeks to go, what is your approach to these final weeks and days in terms of making your final selections and helping you decide how you'll approach the race from a betting standpoint?
Well, first of all, you kind of got to go through the past performances just to refamiliarize yourself with their records, see how, what have they done going into the race. You're looking for a horse that's possibly hit that triple digit speed figure plateau before, or one that's on its way forward in that sense. And then in the final few weeks, of course, everybody has a very close eye on the workouts over the racetrack, if not at Churchill, then elsewhere. And you want to hear the on-site reports, especially from people that kind of do this for a living, like Bruno de Julio and some of the other prominent workout people out there who have a really good eye and can tell when a horse is in good flesh, in good form, heading into this race.
Yeah, definitely a similar approach to me. I sort of divide it into 2 categories, though. I'm a big multi-race player, so the win end is very important to me as a bettor. So to me, I'm trying to be as narrow as possible of who can actually win the race without needing to make a lot of excuses for them. Certainly, horses can improve, and that could happen, and they'll be on the bottom end of my probability chart, so to speak. But for me right now, Irish War Cry and Classic Empire, nothing too creative, but I do think they're the top 2, and then sort of everyone else. This year, though, I'm absolutely hoping there's sort of a Golden Soul or a Commanding Curve in there. We don't have Dallas Stewart to provide us with maybe an obvious one, but that to me is where the workout reports might come in handy. We're going to have the THT Equine report from Pete Dink and Kerry Thomas again. So maybe there is that 20, 30 to 1 horse who just looks like he's ready to run the race of his life. And to me, that can be a key underneath. Our colleague James Scully hit the Super a few years ago for 24,000. Orb on top, the favorite. Golden Soul in second, Big Balloon. So that's the type of information I'm looking for. The Derby, one of the few races a year you target the verticals.
Yeah, and for me personally, I like to make fun of myself. I haven't picked a Derby winner on top in about 20 years. That's always kind of still my focus. Try and narrow it down to a win wager. I know people like you and James are always attacking the exactas and trifectas, and that's great for you guys. It's a little bit more difficult for me traditionally to get too excited about the verticals, but I do kind of like the horizontals, the pick 3, pick 4s with all the stakes leading into the Kentucky Derby. So if I can pinpoint, 3, 4 horses to use in the pick 3s and pick 4s, I'm going to take that approach.
And for me this year, I say it every year, I'm really going to hold myself to it this year. I look at, I liked Exaggerator last year, American Pharoah the year before, nothing too out of the box. But the place and show prices in the Derby, because of the big field and the casual money, people are more than happy for whatever reason to bet fast and accurate across the board. And that money does actually add up in this race, even though the pools are huge. And when else could you get, what was it, like 460, I think, on American Pharoah to show? That if it were a 10 horse grade 1, he would have been 220. But the Derby, the money gets spread around, so that's definitely something this year. With as much as I do like Classic Empire and Irish War Cry, I feel like if you're getting better than even money, maybe they are head cases and don't run the race and lose, but hey, a coin flip that they finish in the top 3, when to me they've clearly shown they're among the best. Something to consider, where normally I don't look at win, play, show, but in the Derby, it's a lot different.
Yeah, if you've got a lot of money to burn, there's nothing wrong with, say, putting 50 to place or 50 to show on a certain horse. Maybe try and get, like you said, even money or better, and especially even longer odds on a horse that you really like to hit the board. So, yeah, keep your options open. There's so many options in this 20 horse field. Totally different ways to wager on it and to make money on it.
All right, well, I'm sure we'll go through as many of those options as possible in the coming weeks. You and I will both be at Churchill along with James, and you mentioned the Clocker. Bruno's report will be available on Brisnet, and we're going to have a daily show in the morning with Gary Young from California. It's going to be at Churchill giving us his insights for Churchill Downs today. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to talking more about it with you, and we'll be back next week.
Good. We'll see you then.
All right.